Okay, so it's Thursday evening. You guys have done a couple of days of interviews. Maybe just kind of catch me up on how it's gone so far, the number of guys you've spoken to, plan to speak to in total, and your thoughts so far on the guys you've talked to.
Yeah, we'll hit close to 80 interviews by the time it's all said and done. So we're getting close to the end, making some progress. We've had a few really pleasant surprises. And as usual, there's always a couple that you're a little bit surprised by, and you can't use the word disappointed because that's not really fair. Just a little bit surprised. You thought maybe they would handle the situation a little bit better, but that's the process, and we kind of take this as one piece of it. It doesn't decide everything. It's just it's a part of the puzzle.
You obviously get to see these guys on the ice all year. Not speaking to them, does that change the dynamic and maybe fill in some blanks for you?
Yeah, we really try to stay away from as much of the hockey piece as possible. We get into try to get into a lot more self-evaluation and talk a little bit more about things that's outside the game and get to know them a little bit better as people, so we know how they handle situations and what type of person we're getting, not just a player. I mean, the guys have had enough viewings that they know the player pretty well, but the part about getting to know the person is an important piece to building a team as well, and we want to make sure that anyone we're bringing into Ottawa, we have as much information as possible, and we're bringing I guess as being as accurate as possible for the team once we move forward and they become an Ottawa Senator.
How has having 2 first-round picks changed this year versus previous year for you guys?
Well, I think what it does is it does give you some flexibility. It's a broader scope, so you have to be ready for a lot more different scenarios that could happen. Moving up, moving down, acquiring picks, having to give up a pick. I mean, there's different things that could happen there. So we're working away at those different scenarios as well as a group to make sure that we're prepared for anything that will happen. But at the same time, where we are, we feel like we can acquire some pretty good players, and at this point in time, that's we're still part of the process of making sure that we've got the list to a point where we're completely comfortable with it, and we're not there yet. There's still work to be done, and there's a lot of important work still to be done.
Just lastly, for people who aren't aware of kind of how the Combine works, how does the rest of the week look for you guys?
Yeah, so we'll finish up the interviews. The players start to do their VO2 test on Fridays, and the Combine, the physical testing, takes place on Saturday. So our strength and conditioning team will be in, and there's a couple of members that will of the staff that will stick around and be part of that, and be watching and having conversations with the strength and conditioning team for us to acquire as much information as possible. And we'll also, they were doing medicals here they started today, and they should be finished up now or very close to it. So there'll be information that'll come from that as well. That'll be an important part of our whole package for each player, and the staff in Ottawa will help us with that. So Jerry Town and his staff and Chris Schwartz and his staff are an important piece of this as well. So their information that they acquire for us and the help that they bring is extremely important to our decision as well.